Everyone is someone. Everyone is someone. Everyone is
Someone in LA. Movies and the scandals, stories and the vandals in LA. Big scores, fast deals, lassos, hot wheels, night drives, neon lights, strip clubs, karate fights, hustlers, makeup, passenger, breakups, tattoos, fashion shows, porn stars, kilos. Everyone is someone. Everyone is someone in LA. Movies and the scandals, stories and the vandals in LA.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Skate Grind Memories. It's so cool to have you here as usual. Right, so by the looks of the intro, you probably have figured out what we are going to talk about today. So today we are going to talk about this video game right here, which is Tony Hawk American Wasteland. This is my favorite skateboarding video game, and in my fair opinion, this is yet by far the best skateboarding video game ever released in the history of skateboarding video game. Obviously, this is my favorite skateboarding video game. I love this game, so probably this review will be a bit biased, but at the same time, I'll try to be as honest as possible. Right, so let's talk about real quick about what the entire franchise of Tony Hawk video games is. So the first Tony Hawk video game was released in 1999, and it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Actually, the game came out in 1999, but I remember back in 1998, it was exactly Christmas time, 1998, I was able to play with the game already because I had a demo version which I found in a PlayStation magazine. I loved the video game, I loved the first 4 chapters, I played with them all, but the first 4 chapters, so Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, 3 and 4, they were more into the sport itself, so there was not much of the skateboarding street style, street culture that comes along with it. Was a cool soundtrack in the game. Always, all the games always had cool songs, and it always been a good playlist, a good selection of punk rock, hardcore, metal, alternative rock, and hip hop. And all the songs always been chosen by Tony Hawk himself. So every single soundtrack of each chapter, each game of the franchise has been created by Tony Hawk, always. Actually, when the PlayStation 2 came out, Activision and Neversoft released Tony Hawk Underground and Tony Hawk Underground 2. The game changed a lot. The humor, the vocabulary of the dialogues, and the storyline, and also the music. So the music started going to like less mainstream and more underground, and also with some characters to unlock once you finish the game, and specifically the key singer Jim Simmons, and also you could unlock a secret level at the end of the game, which was Kiss show, like in a stadium, a sort of like huge stage with all the typical effects that Kiss shows usually have to offer, like flames and stuff. And regarding the Tony Hawk Underground 2, was more into, since it was also the same years when Jackass became popular, the Underground 2 was very similar to a Jackass style. In fact, some of the Jackass stuntmen, like the Wee Man, who is also a pro skater, and Johnny Knoxville, and Van Margera were featured on Tony Hawk Underground 2. And also some songs from Jackass were also on Tony Hawk Underground. So the reason is because obviously Jackass was becoming pretty popular in those years, the series and movies as well. So they decided to do Tony Hawk Underground 2 with a little connection to Jackass. Finally, in 2005, the producers from Neversoft and Activision with Tony Hawk decided to release a new chapter, which is this one right here, which is Tony Hawk American Wasteland, which is entirely set in LA. And the areas of LA featured are downtown LA, obviously, East LA, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and Venice and Santa Monica, plus some secret areas you have to unlock. And there is like an area which is basically similar to the California desert. It's where the character has to build his own skate park. While you're playing the game, you collect some pieces and you can make your DIY skate park. And so this is the game, the areas. My favorite part of the game is the one in Hollywood. I've been to Hollywood a few days ago and I had such a good time. And I can tell you that the developers of the game made the computer graphics, did a very good job. It's very well made because it's very accurate. Hollywood High School with the 20 stairs, the Capitol Radio Building, Hollywood Boulevard. So all these areas are featured, all these buildings and places are featured in this video game, and they're very well reproduced. So the game also has introduced more playable character. Before, the playable character were some pro skaters, of course, but they never had like a huge selection of them. It was just the most famous ones. In each of the, especially the very first four, the playable character were always the same ones. And if you wanna choose one of the pro skaters, so if you wanna choose one of them, I hope you can see like this. If you wanna choose one of the pro skaters, you can have Tony Hawk, you can have Tony Halva, you can have Bob Burnquist, and you can have Van Margera, you can have Rodney Mullen, you can have Andrew Reynolds, and you can have Paul Rodriguez, Ryan Sheckler. Ryan Sheckler was like probably about 15 years old right here in this video game. So Ryan Sheckler is about 35 these days. It was very young, 20 years ago, obviously. So their own song. Rick Thorne, I think this guy, if I'm not wrong, is the guy from, he's in a band, am I right? Rick Thorne, Tony Trujillo is one of my favorite skateboarders. He was Skater of the Year in 2003, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Mike Vallely, Stevie Williams, and then there is the secret skaters that you have to unlock just by finishing the game in the story mode. This is set just in LA, and it's so cool because it really represents what the real soul and lifestyle street culture of LA skateboarding, California skateboarding always been. And among the playable characters, there are more, as I was saying before, there are more pro skaters that's been introduced, and among them, for the very first time, there is also Tony Trujillo, which one of my favorite skateboarders. He's Skater of the Year 2003, I think it was, or 2004, and I have a couple of his skateboard deck right here. So these are a couple of Tony Trujillo skateboard decks on anti-hero. Tony Trujillo always been on anti-hero. And so this is, by the way, is the Thrasher collab, because he was Skater of the Year 2002. Yeah, this is the year when he became, the board is from a couple of years ago, but that picture right there is from when he became Skater of the Year in early 2000. So Tony Trujillo is one of my favorite skateboarders, and he's in the game, and that was so cool. That's why also a reason why I love it. And plus the video game itself has introduced some more references to the like LA scene. Like there is some Jay Adams connection, and Natas, and also some new tricks that weren't featured in the previous ones. For the very first time with this video game, also the player can jump out to the board and just walk with the board under his armpit. And also the other tricks has been introduced are some more old school tricks, like the Nata spin. So that's why I was saying there is also some connection with Natas, and plus a few more old school tricks, no comply, I think, so other cool tricks that weren't featured before. Another cool thing is that each break in between the level, when you finish one level and you are going to go to another level, there is the downloading break. So rather than give you a blank screen or like some logo from the game or something like that, they decided to put some cartoons which are being drawn by Jimbo Phillips, who is the artist who did the graphics for Santa Cruz skateboards. And so there is some Jimbo Phillips art in, which is literally art. So some Jimbo Phillips art in the video games also. And plus the soundtrack is so cool, because the soundtrack, it's all about the old school punk from the 80s and early 90s, especially American bands, also some British bands like maybe some GBH, some Exploited, but it's mainly focused on American hardcore, especially from the 80s. So Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Minor Threat, DI, Adolescence, so Suicidal Tendencies, for example. So there are like several songs for each band, and some of those songs also are played by the original bands, plus some songs are also played by other bands who are covering them. I think the soundtrack is amazing. In fact, actually the soundtrack was available in record stores, and it was very successful too. The main song of the game is Everyone is Someone in LA, electronic disco sort of song played by Felix the House Cat, which is the song that I use for my intro. But anyway, so I love that song too, even if it's not my daily preference, but the song is so catchy and pretty cool too. And that's obviously, I live in LA as well, so this is LA area, so this game represents LA skaters. Any skateboarder in LA must love this game, because really it represents the real soul of skateboarding in LA County. This game came out 20 years ago. It's from summer 2005. This was a quick review of the video game, and I always love this video game, and I will always love this video game, always and forever. After this video game, another 2 chapters been released, which were Tony Hawk Proving Ground and Tony Hawk Project 8, which I play with as well, and honestly I didn't really enjoy them. because, as I said, I've always been in love with this, and once you are in love with something, you stick to that. At least this is myself. So this was a little review, and I want to share it with you all, also because I decided to take a break from skateboarding for a few days, just to rest my body and my legs. And I had the chance to play with this video game again after a long time. That was it for today, and I'll see you next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.